What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Personal Training Institute podcast. And today we have Harry Thomas on, someone I was really looking forward to getting on, actually. So Harry has actually helped me quite a lot with the Personal Training Institute and kind of getting it into the right places and stuff like that. So I'm really, really excited to have Harry on. Harry used to run Number One Fitness in London and also Number One Fitness Education. So this is going to be really insightful for any new trainer and any trainer looking to get back into the, or looking to get into the industry, looking to get into the industry. So I'm going to pass it over, or otherwise I'll start mumbling and jumbling like I just did. I'll let Harry kind of speak about himself. So go for it, mate.
Yeah, cheers for having me on, mate. So as you mentioned, I'm Harry, originally from London. Set up a company called Number One Fitness in 2009. I've been a personal trainer for over 16 years now, and it's been a journey. I've learned so much along the way. We set up the company with a small studio in Tower Bridge, and then that just transformed into all sorts. I didn't realise fitness would cover life, and we ended up opening the second studio in 2012. So we had one in Liverpool Street, and the main thing was personal training sessions, small group sessions, but it evolved into something a lot bigger. It turned a lot more into coaching. Started looking at the clients individually and how it impact their life holistically. Fast forward that, we then started growing the company, so we needed more staff members, and the quality of students coming off, or quality of trainers coming to our interviews, well, there wasn't no quality there. It was actually quite baffling how these people were personal trainers, and from the lack of education, the lack of passion. So in the end, we just put our heads together and said, why don't we just set up our own education academy, and we start training people to become trainers based on our experiences. And that evolved into something quite special. So we graduated around 300 students in the end. We got a really good reputation. And then what I loved about it was helping them actually transition into the industry and making a career of it. Now looking back, we've got a lot of trainers that are very successful within the industry. I think most importantly, they're enjoying what they're doing and loving all of it.
Yeah, definitely. Enjoyment. This is such a, you said it, this industry is so great. And yes, it's tough. It's a tough industry. But if you just learn how to, go with the process, it's bleeding enjoyable. You get to meet so many cool people, like whether they're clients or other trainers. Just go in there, and yes, you can make a very good success. When people say there's not money in the industry, there is money in the industry if you do well, but you have to do well. And that's hard. Like we said, it's hard, it's tough. But going back to what you said, and that's very interesting. I know this is actually not one of our questions, but this is where, like I said, it'll go off on a flow. You said about, of course, training, but then coaching. What would you say is the difference between just being a trainer, but then a coach? That would be interesting to talk about.
Yeah, so I guess a big learning for me, when I first started in the fitness industry, my whole life was just fitness. And most people come to you, I'd say the high percentage of people want to lose weight, want to get fit, build muscle. So our focus was fitness and then nutrition. Mm-hmm. But when you're training clients, their life isn't fitness, their life is life. So that involves so many other things. So their family, their finances, their career. And when we started getting good results with people, we realized it was the impact it was having on the rest of their life, not just the fitness element. And I think we spend too much time just in isolation. It's like, oh, I'm doing fitness today. If we went past that and said, I'm doing life today, and it's going to help improve all these other areas, then people get more of a buy-in because they understand the importance of it and they're actually experiencing it. Whereas we narrow-minded and say, right, we're just looking at weight. We're just looking at how much kilograms that you can lift on a certain exercise. But for some people, that has no meaning. So they switch off, or they don't feel like they're getting anywhere. But if we just reflect it back to their life, they're now sleeping better, they're happier, they got better relationships, they're recovering quicker. And I think as a trainer, our job is really to start showing the clients how it's influencing change within their life. and then all of a sudden they get more buy-in and more love for the fitness industry. And most people come to us having to do it rather than wanting to do it.
Oh, for definite. And but I don't know how you felt, is when, you know, when you saw a client lose weight and start to see their body transform and stuff like that. But it's when I got a lot of, you know, passion out of that. It was a love. I love seeing that. But I also got a lot more enjoyment out of a client coming back and going, I was able to walk into this meeting and I held my head high. I stood tall. I felt proud, and I felt proud to open my mouth, where before they were like, I'd walk in, head down, scooped over, like really. And then as soon as we started talking, I come out of my comfort zone, because they knew they were knowledgeable. They knew they were clever. They knew that they, no matter what, when it come down to a knowledge standpoint, they were very good and they could be sat there with the best. But they didn't enter the room that way. And they said, as soon as, and I know, again, it depends who you're working with. I know when I was in London, there's a lot of lawyers, it's a lot of, you know, quite high powered position people. But they would say, you know, when you first went in there, it was kind of, in a way, you were, you know, you would just feel like, oh no, I don't really want to be here. And as soon as they started to transform, as soon as they started to realize, you know what, actually, I am strong. Look at me getting leaner. I can do this. I can do that. And they go, yeah, I can go into that meeting. They just said it just transformed their whole life, not just their body. And that's what we're in. We're in the, you know, the industry to transform people, not just transform bodies. And when you can see, you know, personal training, coaching, whatever you want to call it, that is what we do. It's not just make them lose weight. Yes, that's of what we do, but we transform the actual person into someone completely different that they ever thought they would ever be. And that is one of the most amazing things ever, sort of thing. I don't know if you felt the same way when it happened for you.
Yeah, it makes it more enjoyable training the client as well, because you're realizing that because they're experiencing these changes in their life, they come to you more motivated, they work harder, they're interested in doing for a change. So it's not like you wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, you've just got the most miserable person in front of you. You've got someone who's now come in and like, let's do it. And again, it makes your job a lot more enjoyable. I think all of this comes back down to, if you're looking to get into the industry, there has to be a passion behind it as well. But it's very hard to keep yourself motivated when you're just working around with negative people. So if we can change our focus to be like, right, what motivates them, and just keep them on that bit and keep reinforcing, look at the improvements you're making, you get to enjoy what you're doing. And then go one further, you get more experience in the industry. You only take on clients then that actually are really motivated to make changes, which falls back on you to help them do that. And all of a sudden you've got a job then that every single session, every person you meet in, you're enjoying it, which then makes it the best job in the world.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, you are going to go through clients where you are just like, especially at the start, you're going to have the ones that you just love training. They come in, they do the work, they leave the session, they do the work, and you'll love every single second. And you will have clients where it's just like, oh.
Let me ask you then, like your favorite clients, if you think at the top of your head, why were they your favorite clients?
See, I don't know about you. I like the clients that, one, put in the work, but two, they weren't always perfect, because it meant for me that I had to be on top of my game all the time. So I used to have a couple of clients who were, you know, they were possibly some of my best clients in terms of physical transformations. But if I said, go run into a wall head first 100 times, it's going to get you the body you want, they'd do it. They were just like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, they would do it. And yes, that was cool, because, you know, you put that on your portfolio, like your transformations, and you kind of go, look at my proof of work. I can do this for you. But they weren't my favorite. My favorites were the ones where it was kind of like, yes, I'm going to listen to you, James, but you need to explain why this works and how this works and why I'm going to do it and what is going to come from it. I'm not always going to be perfect. I'm going to be eating out at restaurants. I'm going to be having the odd glass of wine. but I'm still committed. I still want this. And those were the ones that I enjoyed because it kept me on my toes. But again, they were committed to the journey. I did have others where it was like, well, I want to do this, but I'm not willing to give up the rest of my life, my lifestyle. So I still want to go out and still get drunk 3-4 times a week. I still want to, you know, eat whatever I want. And I'm just like, well, they're like, but won't the gym offset it? No. Sort of thing. Like they were, so my favorites were the ones who, yes, sometimes a little bit more challenging, so to say, but it just gave me fulfillment and it kept me on. I like being kept on my toes. I like a challenge. So yeah, I don't know if that's like a weird answer. I don't know if it's the answer you were expecting. So yeah.
I think the key thing for PTs coming into the industry and stuff is to actually understand there's so many different avenues to PT and there's so many things that like different trainers up as well. And I think you're your own individual trainer, so you need to find things that work for you. It's to be aware of all the different options within the industry. Like there's not one set way to do it. And I think that's what I'm encouraging people is to go into it thinking, let me find what I love doing first and then go and pursue that in more detail after.
For definite, you know, I think, you know, so many come out now, and this is not against the trainers at all. I guess it's just the way the industry's gone, unfortunately. But they come out and it's kind of like, let's jump straight into personal training, and it's kind of like, no, well, guess what? You have to make money, sort of thing. Where I don't know, I preferred the way that maybe the old school, a lot of us did it. You know, you go in as a fitness instructor, you might spend a few months as a fitness instructor, or you go into a place where you are doing personal training, but the clients are maybe just being given to you. So all that's happening is you just get to learn how to be a good fucking trainer.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't have to worry about sales. Now, don't get me wrong. You should still, as the trainer, still learn the sales techniques, how to do it, how to market, how to, you know, I know when I was personal training, my best friends were sales. I didn't talk to the other trainers. I had friendships with them. We would talk, I'd say hello. I wasn't rude. I guess some of them might have, you know, but because I was very blunt, but I got on with most of them. But you'd see me in the sales room. Who are you guys talking to? Who's new? Can I have a list? Can I speak to them? Oh, do you guys want free training? I'll train you, but for that to happen, I want you to pass over a few names or recommend me. You know, but through that, I learned how they sell. Okay, this is how you sell your memberships. This is how you make contact. This is how you do all of these things. So I think when I say go in as a fitness instructor or whatever and kind of learn the ropes, people are kind of like to just learn how to train. Yes, that is a big part of the role. Learn how to train people, but learn how to talk to people, learn how to care for people, learn how to market yourself, learn how to take a seminar, maybe. Only has to be about 20-minute seminar. Learn how to just speak to people and get up there and feel confident in yourself. Learn how to go and make friendships and network with other trainers and other people within the facility that you're working in, and just learn what every single person does and why they're good at it, because it sets you apart. I don't know if you feel the same, especially running your own facility. I don't know if that kind of, how you do it, but
yeah, it's networking and building partnerships is your most important tool. You can't do it on your own. And is that a PT seems to just think, oh, I'm a PT, I know fitness, but within fitness there's so much. So if you've got someone that is a specialist in nutrition that might know a lot more than you, or you've got someone who's an osteopath that can assess your clients, it looks more professional for you as the coach to say, look, I've got the right person, go and see them, and then you work with them and then you send them back. Your whole, I call it your own business, but your business needs to have the personnel in there. But it's a lot more professional, and your client trusts you. Oh, they put me in touch with that person because, and then you can get the relationship, but also referrals. When you've got a trust with other professionals, and they trust what you're doing, and they can see that you're passionate and you're sending people their way, they'll send it back. Like that's a given. So it's a big, I think it's super important for personal trainers to think bigger. Like, trainers are individual. Normally we go into it and it's just me. But if you built a whole team of people and work with them, your whole outfit would grow a lot quicker.
Oh, for definite. I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Network, just network. And, you know, when you do network, and I've spoke about it a little bit before in the last, don't expect anything.
No.
You know, a lot of us go in with an expectation that we give, you're going to give back. Forget it. Just do it out of you're caring and you give a crap about the client and you want them to get the best possible service through you. So you go to the osteo, the physio, whatever you're going to use, or nutritionist, and go, I have this client, they need to work. Is it all right if, you know, you can work with them? And don't expect anything back. But possibly from that, and like you said, if they see it, you have a passion, you do a good job, they will go, oh, James, Harry, whoever it is, I have this client, they want to train with someone, but they're going to do their nutrition through me. Can you take them on? Done.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and it's just a win-win situation, really. So,
Definitely.
Like normal, we haven't actually covered any of the questions yet. So we're going to get into the first question. So when people are looking to get into the industry, because there's a lot of qualifications around. There's main qualifications, your level 2, your level 3. But there's many providers around. What would you say for someone looking to get into the industry, they should be looking for within a company? And for the trainers that are maybe in the industry or maybe new into the industries who are looking to kind of develop and do that CPD kind of thing. And again, I'm not just talking about TRXs and stuff, I'm just mean gain more knowledge. Again, what should they look for in a company to kind of look for and kind of make sure that they're going with the right people?
Yeah, definitely the people in charge of the company. I think that's one of the most important. Actually see, is it a company and it's there just to make money, or is it a company that are there that actually love what they do and they're passionate about it? As a PT, when you're first learning, your brain's going off in all these different directions, and you do need a bit of guidance and reassurance and stuff. So a thing that highlighted for me when we first set up the education, the tutors who teach you are so important too. But when we first started employing, some of the tutors were so bad, and I say bad because they had no experience in PT. Like, if you actually went back and asked them, what did you do? They hadn't PT in about 15 years. Some didn't really do much PT. They might have done 1 or 2 hours a week. And they weren't necessarily the best PT. Like, on paper, they didn't really have any results. They didn't have many experience of doing lots of hours on the gym floor. They couldn't give you real life stories of clients. So really, they were teaching, this is how I found, and people could take this the wrong way, but it was like bad trainers that didn't make it in the industry that become tutors, and they were teaching new students to become bad trainers, and it was like this circle. So one of my first things is find out who's teaching you. Go and look at their CV as a PT, because experiential knowledge trumps everything else. Like, I can read you a textbook and I can tell you this is how you sell to clients, and you've got to do a 24-hour cancellation notice. But in real life, when you've got a client that is working like a dog and they've got new meat and you're charging them because they cancelled 23 hours notice, and you're charging them, you're not going to keep them as a client. So learning from people that can tell you, look, these are things that happen. Here's maybe what I would recommend. Here's what I've done before that's worked. You'll learn a lot quicker that way.
Yeah, for definite. I totally agree. Is, you know, goes back to the cancellation thing. You will not get 24 hours notice.
No way.
Ain't happening. You're again, if they're ill, they'll possibly give you 24 hours notice if they've already, but 9 times out of 10, especially if you're working in London, because the people you are going to be working with, they will get a meeting last minute that they had no clue about. And now, don't get me wrong, you know, it happens consistently. You have to still run your business as a trainer. And so you will have to sometimes just be that person. You have to go, look, sorry, you've gave me 5 minutes notice. I could have got this booked in with someone else. I understand that you're in a great position, but this has happened 3-4 times now. I'm going to have to charge. Now, most of them are pretty understanding. I don't know if you felt that most of the clients are just like, I'm happy for you to just take the session because I get you're trying to run a business as well. I don't know if you had the same with some of your clients.
Yeah, some are harder than others. Some literally asking like you got to charge now, but that comes back to your consultations, like setting your placement from the start. This is how I work, and like as a trainer, you make a mistake or something happens, then learn from it. So next time, how can I stop that happening? Okay, well at the start I say, look, it is a 24-hour cancellation policy. As an example, everyone gets like one cancellation, it's fine. But if like you said, if I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, I lug it all the way into London, and then you don't turn up, I'm charging you for the session. Yep. And if once they're aware of that, then it's easier to accept. But a lot of times we don't set our rules and terms and conditions to start with. So when it does get to that uncomfortable conversation, it's a lot harder to enforce. And I think this is another thing. Your PT career should be a journey. Yep. And you just got to think it's never going to be perfect straight away. But every time there's a mistake, use that as a teaching. What would I do differently next time, and how can I change that so it doesn't happen again? And if you can keep going like with that attitude, you'll literally start improving again and again and again.
Oh, that's exactly, it's golden. Like, especially what you're saying about in the consultation, set everything out in place, have everything and just put it all on the table. And if they don't like it, you're not the trainer for them. That's fine. I think a lot of trainers are scared to lose a client, whether that's in the kind of consultation phase before they've even signed up, or whether that's actually, I don't know about you. I've fired clients before. Have you fired clients before?
Yeah. Yeah. Some people come up with the attitude that I'm still the boss, and you do work with clients that have that kind of attitude to work. They're not used to being told. But if someone wants to make changes and they come to you, there's going to be some changes have to be made within what their lifestyle is. So if they're not willing to do it, and they literally every single week they go out, get absolutely battered every week, and then they moan at you that they're not getting results, there's only so much that you can take of that. And I found even myself at the start of it, I wouldn't have those conversations. I just let them get away with anything. And every time, oh, they've done it again, they've done. Now it's like, if I set those placement from the start, I can call them out on it. How bad did you actually, like, you've told me that you want to do this for your little kids and you keep messing up. Like, what are you going to do differently next time?
And that goes, and that goes to one of the things. Find out their why, and not because you want to use it against them. Don't ever think that way. But if you know their why, when these things happen, you have a solid thing. And again, write down whatever you do. Type. Again, we have technology nowadays. I'm still old school. I like writing things. But if you have it, and you have it on a piece of paper, and you go, look, let's sit down. Because I used to, sit down with my clients maybe every 4 weeks for just 5 minutes and just go, okay, where are we at? This is how we're doing. And they knew that was happening. And a lot of them enjoyed that process because they were like, okay, he really gives a shit, basically. And they went, okay, cool. He really cares about what we're doing here. Again, don't be scared to sit down with your clients. They'll possibly appreciate it. Maybe not every 4 weeks. Could be every 12 weeks. I did near every 12 weeks with some people. But, kind of go, okay, look, you're not following this at all. And we can see it because the results are not coming through, like, on anything at all. You started this journey because of this. And they're like, shit. Because some of them just need a reminder because their jobs and their lives are they're hectic. They lose sight sometimes. And when you pull them back to it, it's not necessarily that they didn't want to do it. It's just they've lost sight of what the why was. Mm-hmm. And, yeah. So in terms of CPDs, is there any that you recommend? I know this wasn't a question that I put down, but I kind of
I was really big on learning. So I think that was one thing that I can hold my hand up. I invested a lot of money and time into like further development. There was a company called the Institute of Motion. They're based in San Diego. And the guy's called Shoal Dalcor. He's not as big on social media, but one of the most intelligent men. And the way that he boiled back again to just general health, and you saw the impact. Like, he would take it to the cellular level, so you would understand like what is happening at every part of the body. And he showed you a whole new approach to looking at movement, how we actually do move as humans, to then put that within the gym. Whereas the gym is very bodybuilding, still one-dimensional. So yeah, I love that. And also going out to San Diego doing courses. If you're a freelance trainer, you can claim all your learning back on taxes as well. So it's important. I would though go one further, and I think my biggest insight over the last few years, if I was to do personal training all over again, I wouldn't just do fitness courses. Like, that's so important, but not just fitness. I'd do courses on sleep. I do courses on mindset. I do courses on meditation. Because what you'll find is once you start learning up the other areas of life, if you just throw in a little gem or a gold nugget within your thing and then go and do it, they're like, oh my God, so I'm getting PT, but my sleep's so better now because I did this, and it makes your conversations a lot more interesting as well. Just going to move the suns in my eyes.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, and that's the thing. Don't, as a trainer, especially if we're trying to help people, and it goes back to what we were saying at the very, very start, is you're changing people, not just changing bodies. Again, they coincide together. But if you start to learn about all the different avenues, sleep, mindset, because like I said, they all play such a big role. I don't know how, again, goes back to another question, is how many would you say, in terms of clients that you worked with, it wasn't necessarily that they didn't train hard or didn't do the right nutrition? How much come back to the mindset?
Always. Now, looking back now, literally everything come back to mindset. The clients that got the best results, every single time, they understood why they were doing it. They didn't just turn up and just go for the motions and just hope that good results. And a lot of trainers also will train clients and they hope they're going to get results too. So when they get on that weighing scales, they're both going, oh God, please, please, please. Whereas if you get to a stage where you can educate them and they understand it, when they start experiencing those changes, they know what to do then. And all of a sudden, then you can start introducing them to new things. So yeah, mindset was a big one. Most people come to you, they don't believe they can get results. They've been overweight, they've been unhealthy for so long, they've tried all these different diets, nothing's worked. So this is like last resort. So there's no belief there.
Yeah.
So the belief comes when they start seeing the changes. So recording progress, doing that initial consultation, as you said, go back and start showing them all the changes. Because if your goal is to lose weight and all you do is just use the scales, and if the scale's not going to a number that you want it to, you're like, oh, it's not working. If you then went back and go, okay, well, in your first week, you're not aching anymore after your sessions, you're already lifting more, you're recovering quicker. But also now that you're changing your nutrition habits, you're being consistent now with your training, like tick, 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 tick. Within your first month, rather than, oh, I haven't got any results, they've got loads. So our job as trainers is make them aware of all the changes, because there's a buy-in. People love to be successful. So if you're showing success straight away, that's progress. So that means you can be successful by the next thing that we start implementing.
That kind of brings something into my head. Check-ins as a client, for trainers with clients, is, get a check-in process put in place. And the check-in isn't just about how much do you weigh and, are your lifts going up and whatever, like this gym stuff. Again, you track that and stuff, of course, but how do you feel? What's your mood like? How's your sleep? If it's a woman, you might kind of track menstrual cycles and stuff like that. As much as trainers don't like talking about it, how you pooping, sort of thing. Are your bowel movements good? People don't like to talk, but if you tell them, again, and it goes back to education, if you tell them why we need to know this stuff, they go, okay, well, and then they don't feel fussy about it. They don't like, what the frick is going, what have I got myself into? And, that's just the importance of having a check-in. It's so simple. An Excel spreadsheet. Over time, of course, it'll get more fuzzy and fancy. And
well, how many trainers know that we did it like as a percentage one of my main things, the problem with the personal trainer is the perception of what personal trainer is. So when, like, even when people say, what do you do? Like, I used to be a bit reluctant to say I'm a personal trainer because it comes with such a bad reputation.
Yep.
And most of the industry, you could go into a big mainstream gym and there might be 20 trainers in there. And if you looked around, I'd ask you, how many of those trainers would you invest in? And you'd go, no, 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 just based on first impressions. Maybe their body language, they're not in shape, they're not showing any interest, they're on their phone. That'd be about 90% of most gyms.
Yes.
90% of the industry don't do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
So just know that when you're going into the industry, be the 10%. Go and find the people that are being successful. Go and people to find that they love doing it and getting results, and find out what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if you keep going on that as your foundations, you'll improve so much quicker. So it's almost to think that I'm going in here and I'm going to be different to anyone else, and I'm going to pick up good stuff from the people that I'm resonating with.
Yeah, and go the big one. Oh yeah, 5 more.
Yeah.
Please don't be that trainer.
Yeah, don't do that. But that's why I resonated with you when I connected with you the first time of why you're setting it up. It was the reason why you're setting it up. Mm-hmm. And one of these things that gives us a bad reputation, because unfortunately we're called personal trainer too. So it's almost think, right, you're going into this industry and you're going to create a good reputation. So people, if they're in a gym and they're looking for a trainer and they're like, oh, look how passionate he is. Look at the trainers enjoying themselves. Yeah. In the end, reach over to, they want to work with you.
It goes, and that's the most simplest of things. If you as Zoe said in the last episode, if everyone's listened to the last episode, not to promote it on this, but she just said, be a good fucking person. Care. Like, as a trainer, people don't realize if you simply give a shit, it far, because you show passion, you show genuine interest in the client that stood in front of you. So when they're training, you are like, you might not sometimes know what you're looking for, you should do, but that comes in time. But you'll be like, your coach and I will improve over time, but you just show passion, you show interest. You might be counting those reps, and maybe all they're doing is counting reps because right now that's what you feel comfortable. But it's like, okay, 1, and you're really into that person. Someone looking over is going to see that, and they're going to go, well, if I want a trainer at any point, and it might not be in the next day, week, month, year, whatever, but they're going to go, actually, when I do want one, she's going to be that person, because they are so invested in their client. I got to a point where clients who were coming in for the next hour, they wouldn't come and say hello to me. They wouldn't say hello. They'd be like, they'd wave at the door and I'd do that. And they'd be like, all right, James is in his zone. Just leave him with his client. So if I was training myself, I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? Whatever. But if I was with a client, they were like, wave, and they kind of just point and go towards the saying that I'm here. Cool. They wouldn't come over and go, hey, James, how's your morning going? Because they knew it would just be like, hey, back on the clock. Yeah. Because, and it goes back to, remember, that person is paying you for, paying money, and that's their hour. Don't use that hour to start speaking to other people, even if they are your client. A simple hello, wave, know where you're going, I register you are here, is enough. Mm-hmm. Some clients might not like it, but they're possibly not the clients you might want to be working with. That's how I saw it. Not every trainer is going to be like you or me, but that's the way I ran it. And a lot of my clients actually respected that, because they knew that I valued their time when they come in.
Mm-hmm. Clients will know, like, you'll do 10 good things right and you could do 1 bad thing, and they'll remember that bad thing. So if you keep repeating it, in the end, when they're not getting results or when they've got other things in their life, they'll use that as their reason to get out. Mm-hmm. So I think it's your identity as well. If you keep doing that and that's what people know you for, in the end, they get used to it. But it's when we keep changing our approach because someone else likes one way or So that's why it's important. Experience first, find out what works and what people like buy into, and then create that as your identity as a trainer.
Yeah, really know who you are and sort of thing. And that goes back to understand your standards, your values as a trainer, as a person, you know, and realize that as soon as you get into this industry, whether you're getting paid as a gym instructor or as a personal trainer for a company, or you are self-employed, you are a business as soon as you come here. As soon as you qualify, or even when you are qualifying, you need to get into that register into your head, you are now a business. And you have to set yourself in that way. I wish, in a way, I learned that a lot quicker. I learned it when I started to really nail down. I wish I'd learned it a little bit quicker and kind of gone, I am a business, I have to operate myself in this certain way. And as soon as I started to do that, my clients picked up, I had better results, everything worked in the right direction. It took me a little bit of time, but as soon as I did it, it worked, and worked very, very well, just because everything went from here to here, sort of thing. And, you know, that's the way, you know, is kind of sort of thing. And that kind of brings us on to the next question then, is what would you say, you know, as a trainer, what would you say people can do, as trainers can do, to start picking up clients? Maybe when they're in a gym where there's other trainers who have been there for years and built up businesses, maybe got transformations, got testimonials. What can a new trainer kind of do to kind of show, okay, I am valuable, I can help you. I might not have it this right here, right now, but I can help the person in front of them. What would you say? Is there anything?
Yeah. I'd say the first thing is do it yourself. Like, actually put yourself through these things. If you're training clients for transformations, go and do one yourself. Go and put yourself through the time, experience it all, because the knowledge that you'll get from that is so much easier to then transfer that back to your clients. They believe you because this is how I felt. This is what I found really difficult. This is what I did when I had one of those days. And people start buying into you. Our industry is full of people that get a qualification, become a specialist without actually doing it themselves. So they're telling people, but they're not understanding what they're going through. So I'd say that's really key. I'd say when you're first new into the industry, it is a growing process. So go in there to learn first and get used to all these things yourself, and slowly start applying some of those into then your client settings when that does show itself. Like, nutrition wise, I did every sort of diet there possibly was, more as an understanding to see what happened. Like, I do a 3-day fast, I do 1,000 calories for 2 weeks. Like, people would say it might not be healthy, but I needed to know what that felt like for when I did train a client that was doing these competitions, or they were going on to a long fast. I can give them first-hand experience of what I did, and they'll believe you more. And it's a analogy. If you was looking to build a business and you had the choice of a business lecturer at university or someone who's ran a multi-million-pound company to be your mentor, who are you going to pick? You pick the person who's done it. So as a PT, I'd say go and do these things yourself, but document it. Literally go and say, this is what I found tough. Most trainers can't do 3 months of training consistently on their own, but yet they expect their clients to go and pay and do it themselves. Mm-hmm. If they can see that you've done it, they'll buy into you so much more. I'd say passion, it's key. Again, we mentioned it, you're advertising yourself always. So people want to see, well, at the very least, this person's going to care for me, they're going to go the extra mile, they're going to make this session enjoyable for me. I'm more likely to do that. Look at the faces of some people in the gym. They're miserable. They don't look like they want to be there. So are your clients really likely to invest £80+ an hour to train with someone like that? Not really. So I think that's key part as well, is use it as your learning process for your life to start improving areas of your life. And from the back of that, you're going to get more motivation, you get more confidence. And again, clients will buy into that massively.
For definite, you know, both of those, it's just such a big thing. And they're not things that people look at. They're so simple. A lot of the stuff that we'll say on any of these is simple stuff. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be like, I know how the digestive system works and all the processes within the digestive system. Most clients, as long as you know how to apply it. You don't have to read off and kind of go, okay, here's the Krebs cycle, and this is how the Krebs cycle goes on to the electron transport chain. Electron transport chain pushes on ATP.
They don't care about that.
Is it good to know as a trainer? Yeah. I personally think that every trainer should have some basic foundational knowledge of it, because it just gives you a little bit more opening and understanding, okay, if I put X, Y, and Z into place, this is what happens within the body. But clients don't care. You might have the one client that wants to know every little tiny aspect of it, but most is just, they don't really give a toss. But the things that you said, passion, going away and applying what you've learned on yourself, and then going, okay, this is how to do it. And that's one thing we see, especially with the world of social media now, all these, and again, it's not their fault. Dude, I wish I had genetics like some of these people. You see them in, you're just like I look at Chris Hemsworth, I'm like, heaven, innit, really? Dude, I wish I had a body like that. But I don't. But the good thing is, if you don't, well, guess what? You have the ability to talk to someone on a different level. Use it. Like, if you had that journey when you were, and this is a great thing if you've done your own transformation, you know how to talk to the person who's about to go through the same sort of thing that you went through, and you know how to talk to them on the same level as them. That goes a hell of a long way. Hell of a long way.
My best trainers that worked for me, they were all trainers that had been through some sort of program themselves, whether that was a cycle program for 6 months for a competition or a transformation program, but they did something themselves, and the way that they could relate that back to their clients, it was first-hand experience. So for me, it's a must. Like, you have to try things out yourself first, because it's very easy to say these things, but if you haven't been through it, it doesn't resonate with the clients as much. So, like, for me, that learning part should be a process always, and start finding things then you really like, because eventually your perfect clients will come to you based on the things that you like doing. So then it's second.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, that one thing is golden. If you can take away that, and kind of during your journey, if maybe as you're starting your journey as or looking to become a trainer, spend those, for us, it's around, between 4 to 6 months it's going to take you to become a trainer. But spend that time just putting everything into place. Get yourself a membership, get into a gym, and go and train yourself, because you are now in a position where you've got the time to go and do that. Use everything, see what works, see what's kind of, I'm not getting it. And not only will it help you with your qualification, because you'll be, I put that into place, James, or whoever you're with, like I said before, we might not be the people for you. I am not expecting everyone to like the way the Personal Training Institute does it. I am not going to sell it on that. We are not for everyone. Cool. But for the people who do want to do it through us and want to really make an impact and a change in this industry, which we want to do, then we not expect, but we would ask that every person learner is go away and just go do it, try it, put it into place, because when you get into this industry, trust me, it pays off, because you get it
massively.
Yeah. So it's such a big thing, but so many trainers, like you said, so many trainers don't. And but that also then goes to the other flip side of it. If you're a trainer and you've become a trainer just because all you want to do is train yourself every single minute of the day, ain't gonna work that way, Nick.
Yeah, and you get a lot of people that say, I've trained for years, so I know what I'm doing. So for me, when I ran the education company, they weren't the right people to come on my course, because you never know too much at all. Like, the industry, and you'll be able to agree with me on this, it's changed so much over years we've been in it. And not only has it changed so much, the education, the science, the research, that's all changed too. Like, the things I was teaching when I first come in, I would not dare do that now, because you realise that actually that's outdated and it doesn't. So if you keep holding on to your old story and the old things that work, you won't progress and you won't be a successful trainer. So adaptability is one of the most important things too.
Yeah. Did you go down the route of insulin hypothesis for fat loss?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did metabolic typing. I did Poliquin's biosignature.
Yeah.
I did fasting protocols. Yeah, I did all sorts of stuff. And you realise that when it comes to weight loss, there's so many things out there that do work. That for one person it works, the other person it doesn't. But so there's a number of ways we can get to the same goal. It has to be easy applied for your clients, and also for you to understand it too.
But that's the thing. Like, you know, for me, I've had clients who it's like, I've worked out their calories, their macronutrients, given them it, and it's worked. And I've done it with another client, and they're like, "Feck off! I don't want to do this."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So literally, all it's been is, okay, let's just tidy up the food that you're eating. Maybe we're gonna take a lower carb approach, just because it's a little bit more simple. Just, you know, I put out a post the other day. I am that dude that if I'm all or nothing, I'm either all in or you ain't getting nothing out of me. It's the way I process things. I am very much that way. So if you say, oh, you can have this little bit, or you can like have this 80-20 approach. So 80% eat well, 20%, I can't do it. I am freaking nightmare with it. Because if you say, oh, well, you can have that pack of crisps, I'm like, well, guess what? I'm eating the old flipping 24 packs that are in that big pack.
Yeah.
Ain't happening. Where if you say to me, James, for the next 12 weeks, you've got to be bang on plan, I will be all in. You will get nothing but just me on. And I'm that sort of person. I then know that I need, through my own knowledge, go, okay, I might need a diet break now just to kind of get things back into the right position and go again. And I'm fine with that if I know the reasons why. But if you go, well, it's an 80-20 approach, and you know, you can have a little bit of this at it. Well, one Mars bar is turning into 5. No two ways about it. And again, it goes back to knowing the people that are in front of you as well, and knowing yourself. But everything works. Yes, there might be a set of principles behind it. Everything has its place somewhere along someone's journey. It's just finding what works for each person. And that again, that goes back to the fun of coaching, fun of training someone, you know, but you have to have the toolbox and know when to use the toolbox. All of us trainers, for some reason, went down that path where we were all talking about building. We were builders because we all had a toolbox, which is a great analogy. My clients are looking at me like, I ain't asking you to build my frigging house, James. I'm like, yeah, but I've got a toolbox. I'm Bob the Builder, sweetie.
Yes. Yeah, it's important to be able to go to your toolbox, because you might have someone, as an example, turn up with one leg. If you just do the same sort of training all the time and someone turns up like that, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
If you now know, okay, well, I've already got experience now through this, and this, straight away, you can even make them aware that this is a slightly different approach to I'm using, but this has worked on this occasion. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then the other thing, guys, as well, is it's okay not to know. Some clients are going to come with you some health conditions you haven't got a clue. And this is the importance of your consultation. On a consult, most trainers still don't do a consultation. They rush to get into the gym. If a client says to you, I've ruptured my medial ligament and I've severed this and that, and you haven't got a clue, if you're in the session, you're going to go, and then again, they take control of that session. But if you're in the consultation, they tell you, you have a few days to go away now and go and have a look.
Yeah.
If it's that, you know, you can use that osteopath that we mentioned and say, look, I've got this client. What would you recommend? You build a game plan with them, and then you go back to the client. How much more professional is that?
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't know if you noticed it as well. Most of these clients who do have injuries and who are quite like, they've had an injury, they will end up knowing more than you. Mm. So if you start spouting out crap because you're just trying to pretend that you know, they'll call you out.
And that's an uncomfortable feeling as well. I've been there many times in my first part of my journey. You say all these big words and they're like, well, what does that mean? You're like,
Yes.
Flagging it's one of the, as the boss and even in educate, I know when you're blagging it now. I'll call you out on your bullshit. So as it, like you said, clients are more informed now. Clients are a lot more educated on their health. So if you don't know, they will call you out. They might not be the right client for you in the end, but that's why it's a good challenge to make sure that you are up to speed with it. And if you don't know, go and learn.
Yeah, exactly. And there's that saying that we've all said, I don't know, but I will go away and find out for you. And although the first answer that I maybe will give you will be a bit scarce or whatever the frigging word is, it's kicked out of English, is a bit kind of like that, I will carry on until I have an exact answer. So I'll go and go, this is the way I used to do it, is go, I don't know, but I'm going to go away and have a look. Next time I see you, I'll give you a little bit of information on what I find. Go back. This is the information I found. This is what I'm reading, but I'm going to carry on having a little bit more of a look so I can give you a definitive answer, or I'm going to jump on a call. I'm going to jump on a call with someone that I found who's a professional in this so I can get a little bit more information. Again, that goes a long way, because that client will go to their mate who's maybe asking for a personal trainer, goes, well, my trainer has done X, Y, and Z for me, is really invested because they went away after I had an injury or whatever it is and found out a ton of information for me. Just through their off their own back, not because I asked them, they just did it off their own back. That goes so far. And it's just going that, and you can't, it's kind of, you can't, well, you can, but it's going that extra mile. And for some people, that's just instilled in them, but for some, it's not. But it will go the extra mile if you go the extra mile, sort of thing. But it works. You just get it.
Yeah, it's a must.
For definite. You just have to be willing to do it. And that, I guess in a way, that's what does also make this industry quite tough, because you have to do a lot of work, just because, again, people get roped in by the fact I can charge £50 an hour or 70 or 80 or upwards. Well, just remember, one, you should sell in blocks or, monthly things. I do direct debits, but again, it's another conversation for another time. But it's that 1 hour, or that spreads throughout 24 hours, because you should be text messaging your clients or emailing. How you doing? How you feeling? How did you feel in the session yesterday? Are you achy? How's your nutrition going today? How's your sleep last night? You're constantly asking for feedback all the flipping time. That's the way I did it. I don't know if, again, you're the same. I was quite on top of my clients 24/7, where they're like, God, fuck off, James.
Yeah, you got to keep pace, and also, like you said, it's not about just the hour session. If the trainer with you 2 hours, 3 hours a week, and that's all they do, they're not going to get results anyway. So that's what the part comes in, is that you are there for they buy into the journey and going back onto the results. And you mentioned blocks and like direct debit over months. If you sell the actual journey, then it's not about the sessions. It's about that time period that they're in a partnership with you. So within that, send them information. You have to keep them motivated. You need to give them an outlet as well when they are struggling. Just message me, send me a voice note, send me a picture of your photo of your food. Like, that sort of stuff goes a long way. And again, people buy into people. Like, people want to be noticed. People want to be appreciated. People want to be cared for. If you do that all within your partnership with your client's going to stay with you, because you'll be able to say this as well. Clients will tell you things that they wouldn't tell their loved ones. Clients will tell you things that they wouldn't tell their best friend. So you become a big part of their life. So if they can trust you with other elements of their life, they're going to literally, and on the top of that, they'll refer to you too. Like, all their people, go and see James. Like, honestly, it was my little kid's birthday, and he sent me a text to say, wish my kid a little birthday. That goes a long way. Like, remember these things when you're training your clients, because that's what's going to make the difference between just their bang average trainer to someone who's super successful in the industry.
Yeah. You will sometimes look around. Maybe you are a very knowledgeable trainer. Maybe you are in that position where you have done a lot of knowledge, even if you're brand new and you are someone who's been very invested even before you got in, and you come in and you're trying to pick up clients and you're finding it hard. And then you look at, say, someone else who maybe come in through the same time, who's got nowhere near the same knowledge as you, but they're picking up all the clients. Go back, look at yourself and be like, because I was this person, because I'm quite blunt, I've got a shaved head. I don't look the nicest of blokes at times. I haven't got the best smile. So people did look at me and go, God, he's quite intimidating. But, you know, it goes back to that whole point is if you just learn how to be, maybe not a people person, you don't have to be. I'm quite introverted until I get a flow going. But if you can just literally be able to be nice and be a good, cool human being and be someone that's approachable and willing to have conversations, it goes far. And then if you can then have the knowledge on top, you got a winning combination sort of thing, plus other things. But that's why you'll sometimes see a trainer. So if you are in this position, if you do see a trainer who's maybe not as knowledgeable as you, but they're getting all the clients, it's purely possibly down to the fact that people just like them.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people as well, like they have got stressful jobs and they do have a busy life. So one of my main advice was make that hour session the best hour of their day. And that hour of their day then has to be enjoyable. And like you said, the people that sometimes do pick up clients, look at the difference between your smile and theirs and how often they're smiling. I guarantee you'll see that would be one of the biggest things. Some of the smart guys that come work for me were the worst trainers in terms of success. And I determined success on amount of sessions, how long they kept the clients for, and the results that they got.
Yeah.
And you see they were grumpy. Like, and then not only were they grumpy, then they were grumpy at the other people doing well. And so it hold the mirror up. That's the key part.
Yeah, look at yourself. You know, that whole thing, if you point, there's three fingers pointing back at you, sort of thing. But yeah, always be internally just looking, where can you improve yourself? And sometimes that might not necessarily be your skill set as a trainer. You might be very good in terms of your skill set. It might just be you just having to be, and if that means you have to act a little bit, don't make it fake. But if you have to play up to it a little bit, so be it. Yes, it's draining, but this industry, you know, training is draining. It's hard, you know, because you're constantly on. But, you know, if you have to play up to it, play up to it. I had to play up to it. You know, for me, I prefer sitting at home with my loved ones and being a little bit in my own headspace. So when I went in there, I played up a little bit and it worked. But then when I was with my clients, they started to realize what I was also like, and they also loved that. And they're like, oh, so you are actually quite like, you're not always this sort of person. It's not that, it's not me. So also know yourself. So going on to the last question. So again, don't want to take up too much time. Why is it so important to continually be looking as a trainer to keep learning from the perspective of a gym owner? So like from a gym owner's perspective, why is it so important that as we as trainers should always be looking to develop, not only like you said in the terms of just in the fitness industry, but also the way we are as humans?
Yeah, I would say that from a business owner, my aim is to keep growing the company. And then the company grows not just with the sessions on the floor, it's all the other elements that you can start adding in. I think the experience of your clients is so important too. But as a gym owner, I want the best working for me. So if you get to a stage and you don't do any more development stuff, soon you're going to get outshined by the other people that are continuing to grow. And also when you're growing, you're happier, you're healthier. When you're not, you go into a fear state, so you become more grumpy. That's a fundamental law too. So you want to grow and have like the insights that you pick up from it, because it affects your life. And that's what I think, like when we say hold the mirror and look at yourself, the more you keep investing in yourself, the more your life improves. So when your life improves, it means you're a better trainer, which means you're going to get better improvements with your clients. So I think that's important. Also reputation. Like I want people to be at my company knowing that I'm at the best company, which means I need to be my best to actually be fitting in with it. So you feed off of other people. You've been in the same, within the PT studio, you buzz being around the top trainers because it's like, oh, I need to fix myself up just to get that respect and appreciation too. So I think that's really important. And also just reputation. Like if if you go through the industry, imagine that it is your journey. How do you want to be remembered? Like, try and look backwards, and what does that look like? I guarantee that's growth in there. Like that has to be if you want to be remembered as a top trainer.
Because it goes back to what you're saying. Is I know the times when I wasn't progressing, you do go into that fear state, and you do get a bit pressurizing when you're assigning yourself and it doesn't work. We as humans like progress. If we see ourselves progressing, we are happy. If we don't, we are unhappy. It's not a good place to be. And that goes back to the mindset point of view. But then it's also, taking what you just said, putting that on and flipping it over to the client side. They are not progressing. They are not happy. And that's not a good position. And then, we could start talking about the physiological states that then happen and how that then makes them harder to maybe lose weight or lose body fat or whatever we're not going to talk about. But, those things happen because stress starts to happen. All of those things start to play a big myriad of things. So if we can be progressing in our lives, I bet you any money, if you start to learn how to progress in your own life, you'll help other people progress in their lives because you're happier, which makes them happier. And it's like it's one big circle, isn't it, really?
Definitely. I think that's the same in all the development stuff as well. For you to improve, you have to improve yourself first. You can't rely on other people. You can't rely on the external world. It starts with you. So just use that same thing for the PT. Get good at yourself and learn about yourself, which is easier then to transfer that over to the people that you're working with. And also, like, you want people to actually respect you within, like, your peers, and be like, wow, I'm learning from that trainer now because of all the things that they've gone through. That's a really good place to be in, is that the things that you start putting into place, people are now asking you questions. What was that like? How do we do this differently? And that's where you can then go into your own specialist niche. Like, you become an expert in a certain thing because you've got the experience and all the results to show for it too.
It's just that. And what would you, again, this goes on to the final question, because it kind of nicely links, really. What would you say trainers can do, not in the fitness industry, do to kind of start leveling up themselves from a kind of just being themselves as a human? What things could they do? Mindset, meditation, anything like that? I know you're kind of big on that stuff. So
yes, so self-development, like that. My life changed about 4 years ago, and I went on a massive self-development journey. And I started just reading all books. First of all, it was business development, then it was personal development, and now it's a lot more spiritual stuff. But every single book I'm reading is from another author who has their own life experience, and there'll be certain things that you pick up really interesting, or something you put into place and it works instantly. And once you have these tools, especially on the mind, like, regardless of who you are in the world, we all have a mind that starts with your thoughts. So we don't even have to share the same interests or anything. It just starts with the thought. I am getting results today. I am improving. I am motivated. Like, it starts like that. So I'd say that's a fundamental, like, and try to find things that you like learning. Because a lot of times in the fitness industry, I was learning topics because I had to do this course, but I wasn't taking it in. It was hard to sit down even for 30 minutes to go through a lecture because it wasn't resonating with me. Whereas this stuff really helps. And, like, as an example, there's a book called Limitless, Jim Quick, and it teaches you how to learn and told what to learn rather than how to learn. And now, like, I'm reading books and I literally store everything in my mind. Like, before I said I had a bad memory. Now I can get a book, I can download it, and I can share it with my clients in a simple form. And the books like that really help you progress with the stuff that you are learning and trying to apply. And I'd say my best advice for trainers now, and this is the one I wish, is that this is your journey and your clients are part of your journey. So think, if I've got a client, they're a client for life. And you're going to go through clients that might sign up for 3 months and then you don't see them again. But if you stay in contact and have some sort of process, it could be like a newsletter. You could have a system every 6 months. You just reach out, how you doing? I had clients come back to us after 9 years. And the fact that we were still engaging, we were still on social media, but we treated them as our clients still. So many times when I first started, client disappeared and I never spoke to them ever again. Like, I wouldn't know what they were doing now. So now I'm thinking, yes, if you put a system in place, a newsletter will serve your clients, but it also serve the other people. And I guarantee if they see you progressing and they look back and go, wow, you've come so far, they're going to reach back out to you because they want in on it again. So my best advice is stretch it right out and just think, these are my clients for life.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, you know, seeing everyone's value. If you used to pop someone on someone's head that gave their price or whatever it is, it's over a lifetime, not just of what you're getting there and then. You know, whether a person, I was a big, okay, yes, you have to pay for a service, but always just give, because it goes far.
Well, I'll share one with you. We had a client who spent 32 grand with us in 1 year. Yeah, spent 32 grand with us 1 year. Then we didn't see him. This guy was training 5-6 times a week. In the end, he got his wife in as well, training like 3 times a week. We didn't see him. Imagine if you just stopped talking, like, oh, he's not training anymore. We stayed in contact. 2 years later, spent another 30 grand with us. Like, that's, and again, these are big numbers, but this is, it doesn't matter the number, it's the service you're giving your people. That for me, and you'll see a lot of trainers disconnect. They do their job and then they go home, it's nothing anymore. Like, that's the difference between just a good trainer and a great trainer. A great trainer breathes this, and that's why that self-development comes back to your life again. You can do things that influence your life, which influence your health, which influences your business.
Oh, for definite. You know, we're in the profession of help, whether it's client, whether it's not client, just help. And yes, someone might take it up, and that's brilliant, cool. That means you can then go further with them. You can help them even more. I guess when you're not with someone who's not paying you, it becomes very generalized, because you haven't got that information, you don't know them as much, you don't know what they're doing, but it still doesn't mean you can't help.
Yeah.
So just go out there, helping hand.
We didn't have, like, when we first opened the company, Twitter had only just launched. Instagram wasn't even there then. We didn't even know what a hashtag was. So, like, now, guys, you have the whole social media. You can create video libraries. You can create a membership site. You can create, like, ebooks and stuff for, at the very least, they don't sign up with you. But don't worry, let me send you my ebook. It's going to at least get you in good habits. So that, so just little things like that is try look through the eyes of the client. Like, what would make their experience special? And then try to create it based on what their problems are or what their goals are, and work through that rather than what you think they need. Try to go through their eyes. Yeah.
And that's a big thing, because it'll open up your services. It'll just make you a lot more in tune with what people want. And that goes back down to, you know, spending time, find out who you like to train, who you want to train, sort of thing. Because if you do, it makes things a little bit easier. Still not going to be easy.
No, that's the thing. It's never easy, but it's a journey. But if you were learning Photoshop's not easy. If you're learning a language, it's not easy. But you work at it and you get better at it. PT should be the same. It's not because you train and you're good at fitness that now you know it all. No, you're mostly at the lower pecking order still. I can assure you that now. Like, there's a lot of people in there that have grown. But use that analogy for them. And also just a bit of advice for PT as well. People coming into the industry, it's not just about the gym floor anymore. And just to show you examples, I was doing corporate talks. I charged £750 an hour for a corporate talk on basic health. So nowadays you've got the corporations that mental health is a big thing, and within that there's fitness. And so try to think bigger. Like, yes, you're going to get your experience in the gym, but these things might be able to do a presentation, might be able to do a seminar, and you'll be able to generate extra money that way. Yeah. And not just get caught up in the gym all the time.
Yeah, and that opens up doors even bigger. You know, you might then end up falling in love with you know, kind of going into corporate places and helping them out. So you do end up leaving gym floor and just doing that, and you become, I don't know if motivational speaker was the word, but you become that sort of person, and then people hire you to come in and do instead. You're going to come in, can you be like our health, our health organizer or health associate or whatever they're going to call them nowadays, I don't know. But, you know, and then you make a revenue stream out of that, and you're not just working with one client or whatever, and you might then take on you might only take on 5 clients, but then do the rest of them. There's so many things, and it goes back to what you're saying at the very, very start. There are so many avenues within this industry. It's not just PT one-on-one, small group. Of course, online's a massive thing now.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother kettle of fish.
Yeah, it's mind blowing, and but again, this is what makes it exciting. If it is that that there's so many avenues you can go down, and there's so many people doing it. You definitely need to do your research and find the people that are good at what they do, not the ones that have just gone on a quick course to give you a discount on there, because there's Mickey Mouse all over or most industries. But the PT, I've been in it, you've been in it. Like even on social media, you cringe at some of the stuff that's put out there. That unfortunately, that's our industry.
Yeah.
So it's almost coming back to that 90%. Don't be the 90%. Go and find the elite ones and learn that way.
Yeah, and I'll be on it. Like sometimes, especially when it comes to social media, if you are going on there and I'm only adding this in so people don't get disheartened. If you go in there and what you're trying to do is educate, you're trying to put stuff out as educational, and it's not a booty shot or a chest shot and your biceps out, yes, you will maybe not get as many likes, and yes, you maybe won't get as many followers, but over the long haul, it will pay off.
Mm-hmm.
It always does, because people realize that they're actually trying to help. Now, that might come with a picture of, some people are very, very clever. They take a picture of them maybe in the gym, and then their caption is unbelievable. It's a great way of doing it, if I'm honest. But with everything that you put out, social media, whatever it is, educate, and just go and try and help someone, whether they're going to, and goes back to, don't expect anything. They take, they don't. Just go to help. And if you can do that, you will put yourself in a much better position. Maybe not short term, but long term, people will respect it. All the ones, yourself, people that I follow, they don't do all of this kind of, here's my body, here's this, here's that, whatever it is. It's education. Education's at the forefront of what we are teaching. Now, if that comes with a body shot here and there, cool. But majority of it's all education. And if you look at, they're possibly the most successful companies, not the ones who are selling body shots here, there, and everywhere, your biceps and your tattoos and wherever it is.
and again, that comes to like longevity as well. Like some people do want to get ripped and do it in a short space of time. You'll get that, but like James said, in the long run, it's when you educate them, because that's when they start learning more, that's when they grow. And also to know that people's goals change over that period. Like their first time they come see you, they just want to get healthier. Then actually, I'm feeling better, I want to lose weight. Right now, I want to go and train for endurance athletes. So endurance race, sorry. So it means your program has to change, which means your knowledge has to change too. So yeah, it's exciting. It's like I've been out of the industry since March. I walked away and I'm doing coaching now. So having these conversations, like I realize why I love the industry, because to go in love though, because so many people don't enjoy what they do, so many people do look miserable on the gym floor. So it's have that attitude. How am I going to show up as my best self as soon as I go into that gym, and just know that every single time you put that best self hat on every time, and you'll get your rewards for that.
Yeah, for definite. So we'll start wrapping up. I don't want to take too much of your time. Where can people find anything about yourself, social medias and stuff like that? And maybe talk a little bit about, if you've got anything running at the moment that might be of interest to people. So yeah.
Yeah, so Instagram is my main platform, Harry Thomas Coaching. There's a lot more mindset, motivation, meditation, still quite plenty of fitness stuff on there as well. YouTube, I've got quite a good following now. Harry Thomas UK, a bit more longer videos. We created a membership platform. It's like a coaching membership platform. And you literally, every single topic you can think of, there'll be some information that you can apply. Even with fitness, I've got a number of workshops that we created, which were looking more at movement, looking at multi-dimensions, looking at the fascial system. So to upskill yourself, it's £35 a month. So it's less than a PT session. But you get live coaching calls, live workshops every single week. And again, if you're looking for development, it's definitely a place to find yourself. My main goal is to get on stage now and deliver motivational talks around the world. And that's what I'm going to be working on. I've got my TED Talk all created now as well. So it's all ready to go.
You have to put that vision out there, don't you?
Definitely. Vision boards are the best.
All right.
Again, another talk on mindset, because you can make whatever you want happen, you can make happen. But it starts again with your initial thoughts.
Oh, massive. I'm massive into that as well. So we will possibly do another episode on that where we will talk about that stuff, because I'm huge on like law of attraction, quantum physics and stuff like that, and how the world works. And if you you chuck something out there, it will come to fruition somewhere in your line. So yeah, I'm bang on that as well. So guys, girls, everyone that's listening to this, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. You have to take away everything. Take all the nuggets that have been said from Harry and go and put them into place, because trust me, it will make you as a trainer stand out. And I know some of it seems so simple, but it works. And you put it into place, it works. So go away and put this stuff into place. Let us know, go follow Harry on his Harry Thomas coaching on social media. Go jump onto the membership site, because trust me, as we spoke about, this isn't just about fitness. This is about everything. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed. I'm terrible at stopping these things. So what I do a bit like acting, over and out.